Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, and I'm one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And we bring you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration to keep you consistently moving forward in momentum towards your goals, intentions, and quite frankly, the impact that you're here to make. So thank you for popping in and joining us this morning. You are going to be thrilled that you did with our guest today, Janet K. Fish, as she drops in valuable tips, tools, and strategies that you can use to build your business, grow your email list, and communicate with the people that you're here to serve and to partner with. So I'll be bringing on Janet in just a moment. Right before I bring her on, a couple of Women's Prosperity Network announcements so that you know what's happening in our community. And the big thing we have coming up this Friday and Saturday is our 2-day Business of Speaking Bootcamp. And you can get the information at womensprosperityNetwork.com/speaker training. And this business of speaking is going to give you not only tools and formulas for creating presentations that cause people to take action. It also is about showing you how to use speaking to groups as a way to grow your business, reach more people, have a greater impact and income. So join us for this powerful 2-day workshop. It's online. Join us from anywhere in the world. Go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/speaker training. And then next week, we've got our networking with a twist, and we also have our mastermind happening. So go to the events calendar. You'll see all the goodies that we've got in store to bring you together to make connections and to have conversations that make a difference, not only for you, but for those that you talk with. And there's a woman that I'm bringing on today who I have known, 13 years, 12 years, 10 years. Like, we know each other a long time, my friends.
We have.
And it is so good to introduce you to our community. Janet and I met years ago. She was coaching high level people within a community, entrepreneurs and business owners who were making a big impact. And I was consistently blown away by her brilliance of thought, new ideas combined with proven strategies that work. And I am so grateful that you're with us today, part of our community at such a beautiful level. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And right back at you, man. Right back at you.
takes one to know one, I guess. I don't know, something
Exactly.
like that. Well,
Own it.
and you know, in that spirit of co-opetition, you know, collaborating and working together, I think that, you know, the fact that we've known each other so long, worked together in a variety of different ways. You're a coach, I'm a coach, and there's more than enough to go around. Like, that's such a beautiful thing when we can learn to come from that spirit. There's so many more opportunities. So anyway, I am delighted that our journey has continued for such a long time and continues.
Absolutely. So let me give you one little shameless plug. I have a podcast, and Nancy was on the podcast. It's called the Breakthrough Your Profit Ceiling podcast. Nancy was episode 91. So go listen to that, because Nancy is, well, you guys all know Nancy is amazing. But go check that out, because we had a great conversation.
We did have a great conversation, and thank you for having me on your show. And it's a delight to have you here. So let's jump in. So today's conversation is about email marketing. Is it dead or alive? So I'm just curious. Go ahead, put in the comments on Facebook, list it in the chat if you're here with us on Zoom. What do you think? Dead or alive? Is it something you should be spending your time on or not? And Janet Fish, let me give you a little bit of her background. So she's a reformed corporate executive turned serial entrepreneur. She's found her passion in coaching others. She is known as a PAK, P-A-K, professional ass kicker. I have felt it a few times and I liked it. No. She challenges her clients to get out of their own way and get into massive action using the 10-step process she's developed while coaching, get this, over 1,000 entrepreneurs in 16 countries. She helps clients start or grow their businesses, make lots of money, and invest it for long-term growth and security. She is the host, as she said, of the Breakthrough Your Profit Ceiling podcast, author of the best-selling book, Quit Your Day Job, 10 Steps to Finding Financial Freedom, and is with us today. Welcome, Janet.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. So why email marketing? Let's just jump right in.
Let's just jump right in. Okay, so a couple of things. So one is, and this is a long-standing statistic, the return on investment for email marketing is $44 to 1. Like, where else are you going to get that kind of return on investment? So that's just like a fact. For me personally, it's all about email marketing. One, because so I've coached 1,000 people, over 1,000 people, and over and over and over and over again, I get clients who aren't doing anything with email marketing. They haven't gotten to it yet, right? And I experienced that with my own business. It was only until like a year and a half ago where I really embraced it. Not just sending out an email here and there, but doing the whole automation and really turning that into my whole sales funnel and using it in my sales funnel. And then I'll say one other thing. I don't know last October when it was, when Facebook went down and Instagram went down, like we couldn't communicate, right? Through those social media platforms. But guess what? Email, we own that. It's ours. Yeah. Those email addresses, we own that. That's not going away. So those are just a couple of the reasons that email marketing is not dead. Well, and I'll say one other thing. If someone's looking to buy your business, the first thing they're going to ask you is, who are your customers, right? Mm-hmm. And your customers are going to be those name and email, that database of names and emails, the prospects. So that's another very, very, very valuable asset in your business. Yeah. And people are going to look at that if they're going to buy your business or take over your business. Yeah. So that's just a couple.
I love it. And so let me point out a couple of things. So number one, there is a pervasive myth that, nobody opens emails. Like, come on. Right? That's what stops people from thinking an email marketing strategy is a good one. Oh, nobody's opening emails because maybe you're like, oh, I get so many emails and blah, blah, blah. Let's debunk this and, share how can you get people to open your emails?
Yeah. So there's kind of a 3-step process around email marketing. And the first step is what we call the interest phase. And that first phase is like, this is someone going to open the email? And that's all about the subject line. So, it should be compelling. It should be interesting. It should be short. So you should look at, when you create an email, that subject line should be something that someone's like, I want to know more, because they've said something in that subject line that has piqued my interest. Because if they never open it, it doesn't matter how great the copy is. So that's kind of one of the most important things that you can do is to have something that's interesting or short or cute or thought-provoking that is going to inspire people to open that email. That's kind of the first step.
Yeah, absolutely. What's that subject line? How do you get people to open it? And one of the things I do is, because I have a business, it's my responsibility to market it, at least to have an awareness around marketing. So I pay attention to what emails inspire me to take action.
Absolutely.
So if you're not looking at your own inbox from that perspective, that's a new strategy to bring in. Oh, that was a really good subject line. It got me to open the email. How can I take something like that and tweak it to apply to what I'm offering?
Yeah, I actually subscribe to a number of digital marketing, companies' email list for that very reason. So I can see what they're doing in the world of digital marketing, email marketing. And then I, like you said, Nancy, I look at what inspires me to open an email. And let me say another thing. I hear this all the time, and people say, well, people don't really want to hear from me, or they're not, as you said, they're not going to open the email. Super big myth, I think. Well, I know. And that's because you should be writing emails that talk to the issues of your target market. So they should want to open your email because what you sent in that email is something that they're going to learn from. So if you keep sending me every week, you send me an email with a little tidbit that helps me grow my business, I'm not going to be like, oh, just another email from Janet. I'm going to be like, I can't wait for that next email from Janet.
Right.
Because she gives me something that I can use to grow my business. And so I have this kind of, I call it the 6-to-1 rule, right? And I think a lot of people, like, they think, well, I don't want to get any more emails because everyone's sending me an email trying to sell me something, right? So I have a 6-to-1 rule. 6 emails with really good content that help your prospects or customers to 1 ask. So you send 6 emails out to every one time you ask them to do something. You ask them to buy something. You ask them to get on the phone with you. You ask them so that's kind of my guideline, so that people are going to want to open my emails, because 6 out of 7 times they're getting something of value for them.
So that's a great formula. And I want to ask how we implement that. So are you talking about 6 emails to send out to your entire list that are just value driven content? Or are you talking about inside of a follow-up sequence? And I know I might be getting in the weeds a little bit here, but there's a difference in those 2 pieces, I think.
That is a great question. So I was talking about what we'll call a broadcast email. So I send out, or at least I aspire to send out an email every week. And now I'm doing like 2022, every week an email's going out. And I call it a value add email, because it is a value add email to my prospects. So I'll call that a broadcast email. I write it every week and I send it out every week. Then let's say I have a lead magnet, right? 35 ways to build your email list. I have a lead magnet that's actually called that. Mm-hmm. So let's say you sign up for that. Then I'll call that an automation. Okay, so one is a broadcast, one's an automation. And that is what you're talking about, Nancy. I send actually, my automation for that, I think, has 16 or 18 emails in it that go over a course of time, that I set up one time. And every time somebody gets that, opts in for that lead magnet, then they get into that, and I'll call it a journey, because that's how I look at it. I call it like a journey. So the 35 ways to build your email list. So I might go into bigger detail in those individual emails on one or, those individual ideas for building your list.
Now, everybody's going to want that, right? So 35 ways.
Okay, that was not pre-planned. That was not.
I knew that. I'm like, I know she's got a masterclass coming up, but I'm like, I want that. How can we get that?
Let's see. So let me see if
you'll find a link. Yeah,
I'll find a link.
Okay, perfect. Right. And so when you get this from Janet, 2 things to take a look at, because here's another challenge I hear entrepreneurs thinking, I create a landing page, I have my free gift giveaway, now they're on my email list. So 16 emails in that follow-up sequence, people like, I don't know what to write or what to put in there. So when you get her opt-in, pay attention to the email sequence that follows and how she's taking you on a journey and building the relationship over time.
And that's, so it's daunting. And I teach a workshop where we go through this whole thing, and it's very daunting for people to say, okay, even though I've got a lead magnet, like, what am I going to put in those 16 emails or 10 emails or whatever? Right. But if you think of it, 1, you think of it as a journey. Where do I want to take people? And 2, you think of the 6-to-1. That's part of that journey. 6 content emails to 1 ask. What's that going to look like? So I like the idea of the journey, because to me, it just simplifies. What is that automation going to look like? I don't want to just throw out throw up a whole bunch of emails. I want to take them on a journey that makes sense to them. And that, I think, really increases your open rate, because if there is a sense of a journey, or there's some sense to it, then people are much more likely to open those emails.
Yeah, for sure. You're building a relationship.
Absolutely.
And the tool that people use for sending email marketing, whether it's, Keep, Infusionsoft, Mailchimp, Aweber, ActiveCampaign, those are called a customer relationship management tool.
Yeah. and so I'm just going to go back to where you started, Nancy.
Yeah.
email marketing should not be thought of as a way to sell people stuff. Like, I mean, it should be a way to nurture the relationship.
Yeah.
And if you think of it that way, then it's just another way for you to build your tribe, right? To engage your people. And when you think of it that way, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you take advantage of a free, well, I mean,
some of them are free. Yeah.
mostly free,
Yeah.
very inexpensive marketing strategy that's so bloody powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I'm a big fan. And here's the other myth that I hear is, if they're not opening your emails, or people scrub their list and say, oh, I'm not going to send emails to this person anymore. And let me tell you, we have had people on our email list for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and then they'll show up to one of our events and experiences. And I was like, wow, you've been on our list for a long time. And they're like, yeah, this was just the right topic. The other times didn't work out. The other things didn't work out. And so here's the thing with email marketing, it allows you to not give up on your prospects and your customers.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm a non-scrubber as well. I let them self-choose. If they want
Right.
to unsubscribe, they'll unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I have been playing with, this might be getting in the weeds a little bit too, but I have started playing with sending, I'm looking at open rates. So my open rate is actually typically, I send it to my master, my master list, and my open rate is usually around between 12 and 22%, which is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But I've been playing with starting to send emails to people who have opened my emails in the last 90 days. So I'm starting to play with, I'm trying to work on my open rate, and I'm trying to play with, like, are people who opened my email in the last 90 days more apt to open my next email? So I'm kind of playing with some of that, and those tools allow you to do that.
Yeah, they do. And that's a good thing to remember for everyone, is marketing is, playing and testing and seeing what people like and then seeing what they don't like. It's kind of like cooking. If you get a recipe off the internet or out of a cookbook and you're like, oh, I'm going to add a little more cayenne pepper. Ooh, my family didn't like that. Right. I'm going to do an email and I'm going to talk about this instead. You don't have a good open rate, or they don't click through to whatever the next thing is that you're talking about. Oh, my list doesn't really like that.
Well, and I want to kind of go back to something you just said, Nancy, because I think it's really, it's a great point. Someone came back to you that, you've been sending emails to them for 8 years, and all of a sudden they buy something, and they hadn't before then. Well, they're out at that point. It's the right time, as you said. So they're out there looking for what you have. If you're not in front of them, AKA sending them emails,
right.
occasional emails, they're going to go get that someplace else. They're going to get it. They're going to go find what they need. And if you're not in front of them, they're going to go someplace else to find it. Yeah. So another reason to I just have so many of my clients, like, I haven't gotten to email marketing, or it just seems like it's such a big thing. And it's just such a huge opportunity. That's why I get a little cray passionate about it, because
and I like it. And here's the other thing about email marketing is that when you have somebody's email, their contact information, now you get to be in control of the communication. You get to send them emails. You're not waiting for people to call you, hoping they'll like your post. Right? You can post on social media and get some great results, and you should be using social media to build your email list as well. And, we've all had this experience. You post something on social and there's like 0 comment. You're like, oh no. Well, when you take that same content and share it with your email list, you can control who it's being sent to, who it's being seen by. You're not waiting for Facebook to decide who should see your post.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. Let's talk a little bit about follow-up and, ways to automate that. The people will be meeting each other online today or coming to the workshop this weekend that we're hosting. How do you automate some follow-up so that, it's easy to stay in that communication and connection?
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to that whole automation piece, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so you meet somebody, or they sign up for your lead magnet. So this is the process that I use. This is the cadence that I use. Someone opts in for any of my things, or I meet them and I want to put them in an automation. I send them a thank you or a delivery. Like if you want the 35 ways, your first thing email you get is the delivery of it. And in that delivery email, I tell you what you're going to get. You're going to go on this journey with me, and this is where we're going to go. And expect these emails. So I level set the expectations so they know
Very good.
what they're going to get. And I do 2 emails the first week, 2 emails the second week, and then I do 1 email a week for the whole rest of the automation. And I would say one of the keys to a good open rate, one obviously we talked about, is the subject line. So have something compelling so people open it, but also use multiple kinds of media. Don't send a text email every single time, right? And make them short and make them very easily consumable, but do video. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
embraced video. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I'm like, I don't want to do video. Now I'm video. I mean, you see me all over Instagram doing videos all the time. But so do some video, do some image, mix it up so that people stay interested in the emails that you send. But set up that automation, and then, like I said, take me on that journey.
Beautiful. That what a great recipe you just gave. 2 emails in the first week when you're building this sequence out, 2 in the first week, 2 in the second, and then 1 per week after.
Yeah.
And let me ask this question. So that is the follow-up sequence after you meet somebody in an event or they opt in for something. And what about, so now you've got people receiving those emails, and now you've got the broadcast that you sent to your entire list. Do you include the people that got that opt-in in the
Yes.
broadcast? Because now they're getting more from you.
That is true. That is true. So that and the most they'll get from me will be 2 in a week because they're
Mm-hmm.
in that automation, and then they get
Sequence.
my broadcast. But my broadcast is much more personal. Like it's, hey, this is what's going on with
Mm-hmm.
me, and the automations are a little bit more content based. They're not talking about what's going on with me. So they're 2 very different emails, but people
Okay.
would get multiple emails from me in a week because they're in the automation. And if they opt in for multiple of my things, then they're in multiple automations. And someone asked about the number. It's so mine go, I think my shortest automation is like 10 and my longest is 18. So anything make it as long as it makes sense for that journey to go on. It doesn't have to be any certain number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you're having some kind of way that you're consistently saying, "Hey, I'm here. Did you remember I can help you with this?" And you're not saying it in that way, but you're creating content that delivers that message.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which
I
is
mean,
beautiful.
my value add emails the last week and this week have been kind of focused on it's 2022 and what are you going to do to, to plan and make it the best year yet. And so I try to do a little teaching ish
Mm-hmm.
in my emails, and then I talk about whatever's going on the podcast or whatever's going on with me. I'm trying out a lot of new technologies, so I talk about what I'm doing there. So I
Fun.
try to make it personalized so that people get to know me a little bit better.
Right. And that's what this is all about. That comes back to building relationship
Really.
to create that know, like, and trust factor because people do business. My friend Bob Berg always says people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
And that's one way to do it. So let's talk now. We got a few more minutes left. And for everybody listening in here with us on the webinar or on Facebook, we're going to open up for some question time of Janet. So if you've got a question, start mulling it over. You can put it in the comments. You can put it in the chat. And we'll open up in just a moment. Let's talk about how email automation can actually make you money. Because if you're doing this 6-to-1 ratio and you're not wanting to sell them too much, so how do we make money through automation?
Yeah. So and that's exactly it. So my 6-to-1 ask, I'll call it, can be selling them something, and it would be something at the top of your funnel, your one philosophy book or something that's a low cost $6-10 kind of a thing. For those of us who sell bottom of the funnel, like I learned this from Nancy. Like my first offer out of my mouth is my bottom of my funnel $5,000 coaching program. It's not a $27 thingy-mabobber. Like I go for that. So email marketing, I wouldn't do that in an email.
Right.
But my email marketing is to drive people to want to get on the phone with me to have a conversation about how I might help them take their business to that next level.
Ding, 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 ding. Wait, golden nugget.
Like that's, to me, I'm not trying to sell them my book. I'm trying to get them on the phone with me because that's where the magic happens.
Yes. So I love that. And I really want everybody to take this in. Use your email marketing. Yes, you can sell them through email, your lower priced products, books, content, digital, programs that you have. And if you really want to not only make more money, but serve them really, really well, your email marketing needs to be designed to get them on a call with you.
Absolutely.
So you can find out what they really need and want, and you can serve them at those higher levels, assuming it's the right fit, and
absolutely, like I do a lot of strategy calls, and I do strategy calls and they don't result in people, coming and coaching with me yet. Right. But it's planting that seed. And if I can serve them in that moment with what they need, I'm a coach first off. I'm not a salesperson first off. Like I'm a coach. Right. So if I can serve you through a 30-minute call and that's all you need at that moment, that's a big happy day for me.
Right. Right. And not being attached to a particular outcome and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a process to all of this. The most important thing is you all have at your fingertips. Like when I hear people say, "Oh, I don't have anybody to talk to," or "I don't have any leads," I'm like, "Oh, how's your email marketing?" Right? That's where you take them. What do you have that's growing your list? How are you communicating with people you've met before? Like all of you go to some kind of online networking events. Are you connecting with those people and adding them to your list so you can deliver them value? So, oh my goodness. So let's do this. I'm going to get ready to open up. So I know we'll have loads and loads of questions. I know you have a masterclass that people can get for free. They can get access to. And everybody's saying, where's that 35 ways?
Sorry. I'm going to find that. I'm going to find that right now. As we get some questions, I will find the
link for that. Beautiful. All right, I'm going ahead. I'm getting it lined up so that people can go ahead and ask questions. And I see we've got Roz has her hand up. So Roz, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you and good morning, Miss Janet. You was treaching, girl. You was treaching. So my question is, because we're not doing these emails one by one, what can you share, like where you started with the tool or platform to help you manage pushing those out and where you are now, like, starting out with your business for the newcomers who may not have the finances for that top-notch deal? What do you suggest to help us manage and follow up in that automation piece?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So I started out with Aweber, and then it just seemed so dated looking to me. Then I went to Mailchimp, and for reasons I won't go into, it just didn't serve the need that I had. So I'm currently at Active Campaign, which I think I just went to the next level because I needed it to integrate with some other things, but I think it's like a $15 a month. So that's a great place to start. However, I will say something like Keep, which is formerly Infusionsoft, I mean, that's the Mac Daddy. That has all of the stuff you really need. So that's the Cadillac of
Yeah, and you can easily start with something else. So if you haven't started yet, Mailchimp is free. It's a great way to get started. Would you agree, Janet?
Yeah, I don't think you can use automations on the free version of.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I don't think you're able to do automations there.
Yeah. And think about this, not only Roz, but everybody else listening. $15 a month to have that automation. See, I want you to think about not the cost of the $15, but how much money it will make you because you're keeping those relationships developed on an automated basis that's not taking your own time. So go for it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thanks for taking great notes. You and Rita were on it.
I just put the link for the 35 ways in the list.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and copy that as well and put it on our Facebook group. Let me go to a couple of the questions that we've got in the chat, and then we'll open up for some more people live. So number one, Andrea Feinberg. Hello, Andrea. So glad you're here. What are your thoughts with email automation double opt-in features?
So I don't use the double opt-in. I use a single opt-in because I don't, in my, all of the email service providers or databases or CRMs that I've used have allowed me to do that. And I do that because double opt-in is just another barrier to getting people on my list. Like, I only ask for their first name. I never ask for their last name. I don't ask for their phone number, because every time you ask for them to do something else, that's a barrier to them getting on my list. So I don't do a double opt-in, and all I ask for is their first name.
Got it. So doesn't like it, it's a barrier, it's easy. Okay, let me go ahead, and the next question was, and we may have answered this already, which is the best one? Mailchimp, Keep, Constant Contact. Do you have any recommendations?
I don't have like I said, I use Active Campaign. I don't, it doesn't matter. I don't think it really matters. Yeah. Pick one and use it. I don't think there's one that's better than the others.
Yeah. So I would agree with you, and it depends on what you want to use it for. So you said a few minutes ago, like Mailchimp on the free version may not let you do automation, so that when somebody comes in and then they get this sequence, you may not have that follow-up. So that's an important thing to look for when you're shopping for one. The second thing, I'm going to drop in a couple of things that I know are important, is when somebody opts in, when they give you their name and email address, does the system allow you to automatically send them to a redirect URL? So jot that down, redirect URL, so that as soon as they hit submit, it takes them to the thing that they asked for and they wanted, and your opportunity to take them on the next step of the journey with you. So you want to have those. That's an important piece.
That's a really important piece, and I would say that's a critical piece.
Yes, agreed.
Otherwise, you can't automate it if you can't automatically get them what they want as soon as they opt in for it.
Yeah, so that's an important one. And then thirdly, integrating with whatever merchant account or payment processor you're using, whether it's Stripe or PayPal or Authorize.net. How easily does it integrate between your payment service provider, your website, and the email service?
Yeah, and that's a big point too. And most of them are pretty. They integrate with most things, most of those. The other important thing is the website piece. Like, does it integrate with? I'm a WordPress user, and I use Optimized Press with WordPress to build my pages. Active Campaign integrates really easily with that, so I can do exactly what Nancy just said. When you opt in, I can send you to the thank you page where you get what you opted in for, and then it can kick off that automation. So it needs to integrate with that. And most of them do, but it's a really good question to ask because those are critical pieces.
Yes. All right. So I just put the link in the chat, and I know we've got lots of people here on the phone. So let me tell you what the link is. You're going to go to breakawaybusinesscoaching.com breakawaybusinesscoaching.com, like all one word, no dashes or anything. breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/email masterclass, all one word, no dashes or anything. breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/email masterclass. So what is this masterclass? What is that going to do for us?
Okay, so it is like 10 my 10 steps for maximizing your email. So it talks about building your list, because I think that's such a critical part. We all that's always one of my goals for every year, is to increase my email list, the number of names and emails. So it's kind of 10 steps that takes you through how to build the list, what to do with the list, how to create the emails, and then how to set up some automations. And then it's going to invite you to join me for my workshop, and so Nancy asked me, the next workshop is going to be February 23rd. I haven't updated the page yet because I'm teaching one today, so I haven't updated that, but the next one's going to be February 23rd. And my workshop is a workshop. Like, you come to the workshop, it's 4 hours long, and you actually build emails and you build automations. Like, my pet peeve is going to a workshop and coming home with 5 pages of notes.
More work to do.
and I never do. I mean, I got folders of workshops that I've gone to with stuff that I've never done anything with. So I want you to leave with, so there's hours of sitting down, and then you can ask your questions as you're building your emails. Beautiful. And building your automation. So I love that. I'm really excited. I do it every other month.
Beautiful. And so question, Auralia wants to know, can people still attend the workshop today, or do we have to wait until February? I happen to be available today.
If you happen to be available today, it is. So let's see, what is the link for that? Do you want me to put
Well, no, it's just as soon as they go ahead and request the masterclass, they'll get the information.
Okay,
so go.
You're right, it's in there.
Yep.
Okay,
so go to breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/email masterclass. Go ahead and opt in, and then you'll be given the masterclass, and you'll see the details on the workshop this afternoon. What time is the workshop today?
It starts at 9 Pacific.
So 12 Eastern.
12 Eastern. And it's so from 9 to 1 or 12 to 4. Beautiful.
And you'll get her done. I love getting her done.
Yeah.
That's good.
This is like, I think I've taught it 3 or 4 times. And there's the other thing that's really cool about the workshop. You can come back as many times as you want. So,
oh, wow.
So it's like, I teach it every other month. Although, and I will tell you, this is my note to everybody: don't schedule a workshop in the middle of January. Or because, one, you don't promote it in December, because if you're like me, I took off time in December, so didn't promote it. And most people are still trying to get back. So don't do a workshop, because I didn't promote it. I think there's probably 3 people that are going to come to it. So if you do come to it today, you're going to get a lot of, personal touch. There's not going to be that many people there. But yeah, you can come back as many times as you want. So to come back and, like I said, get her done. Work on it.
Pay once and come back as wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really good. So go to breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/email masterclass. And I'm going to put the link in the chat too, and jot this down, because I do know we have some people on the phone. The link to the 35 ways to build your list is breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/35 ways to build your list. But between each word, 35-ways-to-build-your-list. As long as you do put those hyphens in between, you'll get right there. The link is in the chat. It'll be on Facebook as well. So if you're on the phone, don't sweat the small stuff. Just go there later. It's all perfect. And she's got more golden nuggets. All right, let's go. Auralia has a question, and then Mary Jane and Darlene.
Yes. Grand Rising, ladies. I wanted to ask you, Janet, what is the ideal open rate outside of 100% for emails you send? And this is a more complicated question. How do you get people to actually take action and click on the links whether it be they have a chat with you, they sign up for a free webinar. It just, I've got an open rate of anywhere from 15 to 18%, sometimes higher. And in this 10 seconds, I also have a very low
Click through.
Yeah. So that's the question, because I can have 100% opening, but if no one takes action, we're back to square one.
Okay, so a couple of things. One is, like you said, 100% would be awesome. Anything that's like an amazing open rate is probably 40 to 50%. The average open rate's between 10 and 20. So you're actually doing pretty well, Aurelia, on the open rate. As far as getting people to click, so this is what I do. I, first of all, only ask them to do one thing. One link, maybe two at the absolute most, but one link. So that's, and then it's got to be a compelling thing that you ask them to link to click through on. The other thing I would say is teach them. So my 6 to 1, right? My 6. So those 6 emails that are content emails, teach them to have a link in every one of those emails and teach them to click on the link. So the link could be taking them out to an article on, Pew Research about X, Y, and Z. So it could be a link back to your website to get more information. But make it a powerful link to get the information, and teach them to click on each of those emails would be my suggestions. But the click rate, let's see. So a great open rate is between 10 and 20. Good click rate's probably 5% of those, or maybe 10 at the most. So,
wow.
So
that would be great.
It is a numbers game.
So let me ask you this, and this is all new to me. I have a webinar coming up this tomorrow, and it's free. And it has honestly surprised me that more people haven't taken me up on it. And it has to do with meeting your targets or goals, what some people call. So it's very relevant. And I'm just wondering, what am I missing? What's right about this? I'm not getting. How about that? There's obviously something there. In my opinion, the way I see it, a free offer where it's clearly stated it's free would have a higher click rate than a click here for this program. Am I mistaken, or can you talk about that?
Here's my thought, and I think Nancy will elaborate on it. And that is, whatever the email is or the copy is, it has to be 100% all about what's in it for them.
For them, okay.
And if it's not, then that's probably why they're not jumping on it, because it's not about them, or the copy doesn't talk about them. Nancy, elaborate on that.
And going back to the recipe testing that we talked about earlier, if you're sending the same subject line over and over again, and you're not getting an open rate and you're not getting a click-through rate, then that's where you want to take a look at, how can I switch up my messaging to focus on a different area that the people need. And so that's, you got to really play with it. And I don't know, how many emails did you send out? Where else did you post about it? Like there's many different factors. So let me ask this question so we can maybe dial into some solutions. How many people are on your email list?
About 290.
Okay. And how many emails have you sent out inviting them to this free workshop?
Maybe about 5 or 6 at the most.
Over what length of time?
That's where you got me. Maybe a little under a week.
Yeah. And people do tend to sign up for things at the last moment. So I want you to know there's still time, and I would really see what you can do in the next emails you're sending out today and tomorrow, to shift up your messaging, and maybe go back to the replay from our Monday coaching session, Aurelia, because we gave you new language to incorporate, whereas it's not about breaking bad habits, because maybe people don't want to recognize that they have bad habits, or maybe they don't know that it's their habits that are causing them to feel challenged.
Okay.
So
okay.
go back and the replay from Monday's coaching session is already posted.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to the coaching we gave you on this, and your last couple of emails, I want you to totally change your messaging.
Okay. I have one more question. So in a case like this, where you said not to send out more than, I don't remember what you said, since it's a free offer, can we send out more than the original number? In other words, it's not hitting them up to buy something. I use that word because it's a common expression. No one's hitting anything. So since it's a free offer, does that kind of negate the other, that you can only send out so many? I mean, can I send out another email today? Well, I'm going to anyway. So, but in the future.
Yeah, I like to stick to the 6-to-1. However, if I've got a free masterclass or a free webinar, whatever it is, I don't think there's any problem as long as those emails all direct to what's in it for them.
For them, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Aurelia, what's your website?
It's getfithtx.biz.
Okay, because I don't think I'm on your email list.
No, I haven't put you on it, Nancy.
Well,
I can.
Well,
so
and so here's the other thing. What is on your website that I can get for free so that you can get my email address? Do you have an opt-in created?
Yes, I have an ebook, and I'm going to start working with that more diligently. I have not, because I had stopped.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's all
good. Yes. No, you're right. And I realized something. So yes.
So add me to your email list, because I want to see the emails. I can best support you if I'm on your list and getting your emails.
Thank you. And I also sent you an email last night. I don't know if you got it.
I did see that. But go ahead and add me to your email list. Okay, Aurelia?
Thank you so much, ladies.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to Deborah Morrison. I see your line is open. Did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Oh, can you hear me?
Sorry. I can, yeah.
Thank you. Listen, thanks so much, Janet, taking good notes. I personally, I have to really get through prior personality biases, my own. I mean, like if someone makes lists such a ridiculous subject line, and I know some people, encourage this, say something that's really wild. I tell you what, I even if it's the person I've kind of heard of, I'll right click and say block the sender. Like I almost died, or just bullshit just ridiculous subject lines. It makes the whole thing nonsensical to me. So now I'll just admit I'm an old fart. I kind of come from, I was raised on a farm, my word is my bond, and all of this grandiose language, I'll tell you, there's been a mental hurdle, and I don't want to have to do therapy here on this show, which is otherwise, kind of very fast action. Yet there's a sense by which if in my marketing, I have to promise you'll make 2 or 3 circles around the sun and the moon and come back.
No. All right. So
there's this thing about promises, because we can't please all the people. And yes, you can give a money back guarantee, but I want to hit the sweet spot. I want to hit the medium point where it's not over the top. I'm promising you in the world with a cherry on top. And yet, listen, I'm a truth teller. So once people get a sense of me, which is not going to happen in initial emails to outsiders, they can understand that. But
I disagree with that, Deborah. Deborah, hold on. You said, I want people to get to know me, which they're not going to get in initial emails. That's the myth
I'm sorry, get to know me as a truth teller.
Right. You do that in the email marketing. That's what your sequences are. Telling some stories and telling some analogies.
And use video.
And and she's really great at all of that.
Like you want to be known as the truth teller or perceived as that, do video. Like do video and send it in an email, because that's how people are going to get you. That's how they're going to see you. And I don't think people do enough of that.
Well, I agree, Janet. I do like video. I guess I'm just hung up on the subject line at this juncture. Like, what is the teaser so that it's not completely unbelievable and yet it evokes action taking?
Well, the topic headline for this was email marketing, dead or alive. Did it get your attention?
Yeah.
So there's nothing sleazy or pitchy or promising about that. That's just what the topic is. You know, mountains and molehills. I mean, we've come up with some good subject lines for you, and just do it in your way, in your voice, in your authentic way. Don't think you need to adopt someone else's, you know, slick practices to make it work. You don't have to, but there's a way to take what you have and spark it up. So start paying attention. Which subject lines do you like to open? Because we tend to market to and serve people like us. So start noticing which subject lines do you like. So we know which ones you don't like. So which ones do you like? All right, Deb?
Great.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And again, you can get the 35 ways to build your list, breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/35 ways to build your list, and put hyphens between each word. And the masterclass, as well as the workshop information that she's hosting this afternoon and again in February, is breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/email masterclass. Let's go ahead and go to Olivia Jones next.
Greetings. My questions is, so I'm a beauty consultant with Mary Kay. Mary Kay has a list, they send out emails with our preferred customer program. But then I also want to create my own list. Like when I meet people, I can send emails that way. So I'll be able to build an email list there. Then, but how do I transfer them over? Or I'm like at a loss. I have emails where I can, as I meet new people to attract new clientele, then I have people who are already my clients that are receiving emails, and they're my preferred customers. So
your question is, how do you put those into your own CRM?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, and so first of all, I would say anybody out there who works, you know, with a direct marketing company or whatever, you absolutely have to duplicate the emails that are that are your clients, that are in their CRM, into your own CRM. Because Mary Kay's not going anywhere, but let's say it did. Like for some reason, or some reason they kicked you out. Like that's probably not going to happen. But now all of the work that you have done to build that list, now it's their list. It's not your list.
Yeah.
So I suspect that there's a way that you can export the names and emails from that CRM. And I would absolutely encourage you to import those into your own CRM where you own them. The company doesn't own them. Like that's one of my pet peeves, because I have not Mary Kay, but I've worked with people who have worked with direct marketing companies that go away.
Yeah.
And guess what? They go away.
All of a sudden, you got no business.
That's right. That's
Or
right.
and you have no people to provide them with an alternate solution. So remember that. Remember that.
Absolutely.
I had some clients that this happened to, just like you, and so they, you know, were in this business for 10 years. It was a healthcare company with a nutritional supplements. The company went out of business. All of those customers are not being served. You still want to be able to serve them. If you're a health expert, you're going to find a new product and a new system to support them in. So definitely pull the list off of the Mary Kay and get something like Mailchimp just to get you started.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good. You're welcome. Let's go next to Darlene and then Ivy's. Darlene, do you have a question?
Yes, this has been so good, Janet. Thank you for everything. And my question was, when you spoke about getting them from online to the phone, do you usually set up the phone call, or do you set it up as a Zoom call? What is your usual, and what is that thing, or what is the thing that you say or incorporate that actually gets them from online to that phone call or to that Zoom call? What is that transitional piece that creates that connection?
Good question.
Good question. So I will say that prior to the pandemic, I did phone calls, and now I do Zoom calls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just, and I think Zoom calls are much more effective because it's much closer to an in-person. So I do my strategy sessions, I call them that, via Zoom now. And the thing that I do, so for me, I'm working with entrepreneurs who basically want to make more money in their business. They're kind of stuck where they are, making the same amount this year as last year. That's kind of my niche. That's kind of what the people that I like to work with. So for me, I focus on marketing. Like 90% of what I do in coaching is about marketing. So the conversation that I have with them to get them on the phone with me via email or whatever that looks like is all about, do you want to spend 30 minutes with a coach who's been, coached over 1,000 people for 15, 16 years to identify some actionable items that you can do in your marketing that you can start executing on right away. Like those are the kinds of words that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where are you? What's the problem that you have? You're stuck. You want to make more money. You're making the same amount of money. Get on the phone with me, and you will walk away from that phone call with actionable items that you can execute on right away to increase your bottom line, to get more customers, whatever that is. But those are the kinds of words that I use. I identify what the problem is, and then I tell them what they're going to get from getting on the phone with me. Does that help, Darlene?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Good. Great question.
Thank you.
Brilliant answer, of course. Thank you, Darlene, and beautiful. So let's take one more before we wrap up. Evie's is here. I got it right this time, right? Evie's?
Yes, you got it right. Hello, everybody. I send you all some sunshine from Puerto Rico.
Oh.
And I have a question. My question is, when you are like, let's say the first time when it's like the icebreaker, what elements you put in the first email, for the first time? What would that be?
So usually, let's say it's an automation tied to a lead magnet or an opt-in or some free irresistible offer that I have. So I thank them. I deliver the cool irresistible offer. I welcome them to my community. Most of mine will say go join my community on Facebook. So join my group, and then I tell them the journey that I'm going to take them on. Expect to get emails every week, and this is what you're going to get from the email. So I give them the idea. I tell them what to expect. And then what I do with some of my emails, because I'm a coach, I give them like homework. Like, this is what I want you to do. Like, go do these things. So that's kind of the formula that I use for my automation campaigns and in the first email. But the most important thing for me in the first email is to give them an insight into what the journey I'm going to take them on, so that they expect to get emails from me. They don't, and there's maybe, I don't know if it's true, but maybe they'll open them more because they expect to get them, rather than just a random email that comes from me. I've told them what to expect.
Is that good, Evie's? I think she
That's
said
awesome.
yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, beautiful.
Rita, I don't know who you are. I don't know that we've met, but you are awesome. Like, you are she's the
Rita Thomas is the Keep automation specialist. So the
Okay.
people that want help in setting up those campaigns and actually getting them in there, you guys need to partner. I see some good stuff.
Yeah, but she's like the
She's on it.
choreographer here. So thank you so much. You are awesome.
She is. All right, beautiful. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Aurelia did ask, do you charge for your strategy or discovery calls, or do you do them complimentary?
I do a complimentary. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I do one more quick little shameless plug?
Of course, go for it.
Okay. So I'm a host of the Breakthrough Your Profit Ceiling podcast. I do a marketing audit on the show. So it's kind of like, well, it's a 30 or 45 minute, but we sit down. It's a Zoom, we record it. We talk about where you are in marketing. And like I said, it's kind of like a strategy session, but it's really focused on your marketing strategies, where you are, where you want to go. You'll walk away with some actionable items. And then I publish it as an episode of the podcast. And so if you want to get on the podcast, you want to be a guest on a podcast, you want to get some promotion through that, just contact me and I'll send you a link to sign up. So if you guys are interested in the marketing on it, you want to get on the podcast.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And the name of the podcast is Breakthrough Your Profit Ceiling.
Yep.
And your email address is?
Janet@breakawayllc.com.
Janet@breakawayllc.com. Beautiful. Well, this was...
Okay, one more other thing. My 2-year anniversary of the podcast is on Monday. And I did a compilation. So I took 10 of my favorite episodes and I did a little sound bite. And Nancy is one of those because it was one of my favorite episodes. So not only is she episode 91, but you'll be part of that. So I'll be tagging you in social media.
Perfect. I will be happy to share it. Yeah.
You'll get
awesome.
more of Nancy. So because we love Nancy. Thank you so much for inviting me. This was awesome.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much for giving away so much value to help people move forward. Use that email marketing. Email is very much alive. Now let's breathe some life into your contact list.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's so good, Nancy.
Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day. We'll see many of you at the upcoming speaker training. Bye, y'all. Bye, Janet.